Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, April 21st, 2020. I'm Stephanie Haney. I'm here with your update on our top headlines on WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Each morning, we do start with the updated numbers from the Ohio Department of Health, which we get each day at 2 p.m. So these are the numbers from yesterday, from Monday, April 20th, and this is where the situation currently stands in Ohio related to COVID-19 coronavirus. Here's where we stand right now. There are currently 12,919 cases of COVID-19 coronavirus here in Ohio. Now, it's important to point out that this is based on an expanded definition. This is statewide, and it's based on an expanded CDC definition that includes both positive tests and probable cases of COVID-19 coronavirus. So, potentially for the first time here, getting a more accurate picture of exactly what it looks like here in the state of Ohio. Of course, that does not account for people who are asymptomatic that do have COVID-19, and we know that there are a lot of those people. The CDC actually suggesting that maybe as many as 25% of Americans have had COVID-19 and not known it because they have been asymptomatic. But with all of that in mind, the number of cases that the Ohio Department of Health is currently reporting in the state of Ohio is a total of 12,919 cases from the time we learned of the first case to now. And the total number of deaths, again related to the expanded CDC definition that does include those positive tests as well as probable deaths from COVID-19 coronavirus, is now 509. And if we take a look at how these numbers have been developing over the past week, we saw an increase in cases from Saturday to Sunday and again from Sunday to Monday in the 1300s. So we're seeing numbers that are closer to that amount that Dr. Amy Acton, the director of our Ohio Department of Health, told us we would see during peak. The number of deaths from Saturday to Sunday was 20. And then the number of deaths from Sunday to Monday was 38. So we'll be keeping a close eye today on what that number looks like and how that changes from Monday to today when we get those new numbers at 2 p.m. This is as Ohio is talking about opening back up in varying stages starting on May 1st, but health officials are warning Ohio not to open up too quickly. Health officials are hoping that we Ohioans understand that this date, May 1st, does not suddenly mean that life will go back to normal, so to speak, and warning that the process needs to be done slowly and with precautions. Cuyahoga County Board of Health Commissioner Terry Allen said this: "We're encouraged by where we sit now in Ohio and that we are seeing a plateau, but we don't want to develop a false sense of security that we can move on and presume that we can go back to normal life. We are not there. We are far from that." So when things begin, the reopening phases here on May 1st, which Governor Mike DeWine has said we can expect, they will be phased in slowly. And DeWine did say that that plan is very similar to Trump's plan, which is a 3-phase plan. Phase 1, honestly, seeming a lot like the current stay-at-home order that we're under with just minor tweaks. Phase 2, again, minor tweaks. Phase 3 really being that reopening of things on a more wide scale. Officials from Ohio have said that Ohio's opening will be slow and played out over those phases that do take time. Yesterday, Governor Mike DeWine did say that schools will be closed for the rest of this academic year. And, excuse me, that was a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow. The governor made that call and announced it during yesterday's press conference at 2 p.m. And schools here have been closed since March 16th. So it's not necessarily an unexpected call from the governor, but it is a call that he did formally make yesterday during his 2 p.m. press conference. He said that students will continue to learn remotely to finish out the school year. He mentioned specific concern for several groups of students, these being children with special developmental needs, children with health challenges, children with no or limited access to the internet, and children who don't have supportive home lives, but he did not mention any specific plans to help those specific groups of people. He did also mention that it's possible in the fall there will be a combination of in-person and remote learning, but we just don't know at this time what that's going to look like. Fall at this point is simply too far away to forecast what could be happening at that point in time. President Trump yesterday tweeted that he will sign an executive order to close our borders to immigrants. So as we're talking about reopening the country in certain ways, talking about closing it down in other ways. So he announced this over Twitter yesterday and said that he would temporarily suspend immigration into the United States and that the order would be put in place to protect the jobs of American citizens. Not necessarily focusing this tweet on the health and wellness of people here in the country, but aiming that towards job protection. It's not clear when the order will be signed or how long it will remain in effect. We'll have to keep an eye on that and see what develops there with that executive order planned to come from the president. There is a new bill close to passing. Senate Democratic Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said on Tuesday that an agreement has been reached on every major issue of a nearly $500 billion coronavirus aid package. This is for small businesses, as well as additional help for hospitals and COVID-19 testing. Most of the funding, more than $300 billion, would go to boosting a small business payroll loan program. This is the payroll protection program that ran out of money last week. Additional help would be given to hospitals, and billions more would be spent to boost testing for the virus, which is a key step in building the confidence that we do need in order to reopen the country on a wide scale. In a Tuesday afternoon Senate session, they're hoping to provide an opportunity to quickly pass the legislation and hoping it comes together quickly. But the Democratic-controlled House is planning on calling lawmakers to Washington for a vote later in the week. So we'll be keeping an eye on that as that develops as well. In national news, last night it was reported that Kim Jong-un, the leader of North Korea, was in grave danger after a recent surgery. South Korea's presidential office said that he appeared to be handling state affairs as usual and that it had no information about rumors regarding his health. But many will be watching closely for any signs of trouble in North Korea and whether the country will address reports, which has not happened yet. Speculation often surfaces about North Korea's leadership based on attendance at important state events. Kim Jong-un, who is in his mid-30s, missed the celebration of the birthday of his late grandfather and state founder Kim Il-sung on April 15th, which is considered to be the country's most important holiday. So that's one of the major issues that's calling his health into question at this time. Bringing it back home, yesterday, as many of you know because it happened in your communities, schools across Northeast Ohio lit up their stadiums in support of seniors. This was planned before Governor DeWine made his announcement at 2 p.m. that all in-person activities would be canceled for the rest of the year. And yes, that does include graduation ceremonies for these seniors, in-person graduation ceremonies. So the timing was perfect yesterday to really shed some light, pardon the pun, on our 2020 seniors and how special they really are and what an incredible moment this is in their lives. And we have plenty of photos on WKYC.com and our WKYC app if you want to check those out. It's really beautiful to see just a couple of the schools that participated. My alma mater, Perry High School in Canton, lit up their stadium. Orange schools, Mentor, Elyria, Manchester, plenty of schools across Northeast Ohio. We've got lots of those photos in an article on WKYC.com. They lit up their stadiums for 20 minutes and 20 seconds to honor those seniors, of course, observing all of the proper physical distancing. The stadiums were not open, the buildings were not open. People were invited to come, sit in their cars, enjoy the lights, and celebrate our seniors as they get ready to finish out their last year of high school, which is a monumentous accomplishment. So congratulations to all of those seniors out there. It really is something special, and I hope you can take this moment and appreciate it for what it is for the community coming together to celebrate you, even though it is certainly less than ideal. Those are your headlines for this morning for Tuesday, April 21st. Next up, you can catch 3 News Connect. That's at noon. You can find that on Channel 3 on television. You can also find it on Facebook and YouTube and WKYC.com and our WKYC app. And I will be back here at 2 p.m. as soon as we get those updated numbers from the Ohio Department of Health. So I will see you back here. I'm Stephanie Haney.